Good evening, everybody. Welcome in. Retrovisions here. We are doing NASCAR racing, a 1994 racing sim that I've been playing for over 30 years now. We are still working on getting a new track record of 217. I do believe that the game logic itself will allow me to hit a 217 lap record. We haven't been able to pull that off yet. Top speed so far is 216.4. Now, as much as I think that is close to what this game will give us, I did manage to also tag the wall coming to the dog leg. So there is something left on the table that I need to go back and revisit. And we're going to see what we can do tonight. I'm hoping that we will hit 217. That would be amazing. If we can hit 216.6, 216.8, that too would be perfectly fine by me. So that's the goal for this evening. Those coming in on YouTube tonight, I'm just quickly updating with some artwork for tonight's video. I'm updating also the title for tonight's stream. So we are up and going with that. We are up to date on Kick. We should be good to go there. Now, like I said, last time we played this, we beat Bill Elliott's record of 212. We beat my personal best of 214. We did throw up the 216.4 up on the board. And like I said, I think there is enough in the tank. We may hit 217. That is my goal. If we can hit 217, I think that's about as much as the gaming logic will give us. I definitely don't think the programmers back in 1994, when they put this game out, thought we were ever going to be out there trying to pull 214 out of anywheres, let alone now looking for 217. But I think we may have something left to show off tonight, so that is my goal. So we're going to give it about 4 or 5 more minutes. We're just in the just chatting category, just getting everybody up to speed on what we're planning on doing this evening. I am still playing this on a keyboard, so up, down, left, right keys are being used. We're not using a steering wheel, which I think probably would help me in the long run, but playing a game that's 32 years old, I don't think spending $100 on a steering wheel with pedals is going to make all that big of a difference, especially on a game this old. But needless to say, here we are tonight, coming back for a second round. We beat 2 records last time we played. This time, hopefully, we'll just get this last record. We'll get ourselves up over 217. If we can beat the 217, I will call Talladega a win. I don't know anybody else on the internet right now trying to beat this record. So that's the goal for tonight. We are really going to be busting hard. We have a couple of hours to try to hit 217. Probably wouldn't mind hitting anything above 216.4, knowing that the game may not give us 217. The record that this game may give us may only be a 216.6, 216.7, but we're still looking for a half a mile an hour. I do have a pretty solid setup for... let's go wrong one. We do have a solid qualifying setup right now that we will be using this evening. And we do have a couple of different setups that I have been messing around with. So I don't know what's going to be the ideal way of handling this, but we're just here for the night. We're just going to hang out here, see what we can do, see what miracles we may or may not make happen. And if we can't, we can't. I'm not going to worry too much about it. We're going to do the best we can with what we have to work with. The only thing I wish at the moment was to make DOSBox a little bit more full screen, and I don't... Let's see. Can I make this full screen somehow. Of course not. That would make my life easy. No, this is as big as it gets. So this is what I'm going to work with this evening. So that's my goal this evening. Let's see if we can make something great happen. BG, welcome in tonight. We are grinding it out tonight. We are working hard, trying to hit 217. We're going to get started momentarily. Glad you was able to stop in tonight. So we are, I would say, about 5 minutes away, not even, from taking over this stream. See what miracles we can make happen. I've been a NASCAR fan going back to the 80s, so trying to beat this record has been something I have been trying to do since this game came out back in '94. So, with that said, we'll just move ourselves over in categories. We'll move over to retro for this evening. Hopefully you guys will enjoy what we have going on tonight. Let's see, on Kick we are listed as, let's see, NASCAR Racing. We are good there. And YouTube, we are set to go there as well. So pull down your racing belts. We are getting ready to go racing. As old DW would tell us, boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. So do forgive me. The graphics are a little bit outdated as opposed to what is what they have today in 2026. I'm just going to turn up the volume on my phone real quick just to make sure that, just to compare the video quality, sound versus my talking. And it sounds pretty good, for as last time I did this stream, it was 100% engine, 0% me. So for tonight, we are much more balanced on our sound quality, and we are going to see how close to 216 we can get. Just warming up like this, first couple of rounds. If we can hit 213, 214, I would be happy with that. If not, so if you guys enjoy racing, this is the type of thing I like to do from time to time. We will go over a little bit about this game since it is a retro classic, and my kind of thing is I like playing anything from the mid-90s and back. During the week it's usually Zelda, but I do plan on mixing that up a little bit throughout the week. Mondays and Thursdays I do stream a lot, usually 9 p.m. till 11:30 at night. And Saturdays I like to try to get on about 7:30 like this. So here's the first actual lap that I feel like is going to be halfway decent. 2:08. Part of this is also going to be me getting my eyes dialed in on the dog leg, that little bend that we have right before the start finish line. If I can get that pretty much dialed in, we should be throwing down some very, very fast laps this evening. If we hit this lap record early on tonight, or if I think somewhere close to 217 is going to be where the record is going to have to sit, we can mix it up. I have some Super Nintendo ROMs, we have some PC ROMs that we can throw up on the screen this evening. Okay, so first cycle through here, 2:11.3. Nowhere near my best. So what I should do is a 3-lap run just to see if I can take a gallon of fuel out of this car and make it a 2-gallon run instead of a 3-gallon run. I do wonder if we can get away with that, because if that makes the car just a little bit lighter, we might be able to go just a little bit faster. So we will run the car pretty much dry this time around, and we'll see what we can do. I'm glad everybody's here tonight. I try just to be chill, not to stress out over gaming, get all excited. But hopefully you guys enjoy this type of stream. Like I said, I just do something a little bit different than I normally do. Everybody does more modern gaming, I've noticed, for the most part. But I do enjoy the retro classics, and hope you guys do too. So tonight, like I mentioned, Talladega. This is where the fastest NASCAR lap ever turned, back in 1987. So we're going to get to the first turn here. Pretty solid there. A good 200-mile-an-hour warm-up lap. If we can get through this turn, I'm doing about 205. That would be a solid exit speed off the turn 2. If we can get into turn 3 doing about 226, 227, even 228, that would be solid for us. We did touch 226 on that one. And if we can manage about 210 around the turn here, that would be solid for us. That was very good off that turn. Now if I can just make this dogleg turn work a little bit better for us. 214.1. Now if we can just hold it together around this lap, keep about 205 off the turn, a good shot down the straightaway, and see if we can get 227, 228 in turn 3. I think we might be on pace for a 216 lap. See what we can pull out of this. Not as much as I was hoping for. But if we can just hold it together, that 215 exit speed is going to be very good for us. And that's the damage wheel I had last time when we came up at 216. There is so much speed and this so small it's too small of a window for error that anything that can go wrong, that will definitely impact what we can do with the speed. We are literally, I think, almost on the edge of almost God mode. I would almost venture to say that everything just needs to be literally perfect. And outside of me hitting that wall on that lap might have been perfect. I did post the end of it up on Instagram, because I do post up video clips on Instagram, YouTube, and on Twitch as well. So if you guys want to check that out later on, or open another window, you can catch the back end of that lap. That was before I realized I need to set my clip window to 60 seconds instead of 30 seconds. But this lap, I just need to take it a little bit slower around the turn here, just to make sure I can hold it together. And if I'm too cautious with that, I do throw away the second lap. But if I can hold it together all 3 laps, I will give it a 4th one, see if we can make it through the 4th lap with a tank of fuel. See what we can make happen. I think this might just be a throwaway lap, honestly. This is a pretty solid turn 3. Turn 3 and 4 has always been pretty good for me. It's this dogleg turn that always throws us for a loop. There we go. That's a good solid dogleg. If I can do that a couple more times, we will be in business. And that's 212, 210, 207. That's a good turn too. Up until I hit the wall, that was a great turn too. Like I said, it's just so difficult, and we are on the edge of the logic of this game. I think even partly the controls on this, just the controls with the keyboard, are just, everything is so clunky here. Let's see if we can just get through this turn in one piece, and we'll just give it one more lap and see if we can get a 4th lap out of this tank of fuel. Because if we can, then we can go down to 2 gallons of fuel and make it through this in one piece. I know the car is just not perfect at this point. Hit the wall one too many times, and you know, getting down the backstretch with fuel still in the tank. And let's see, we get through turns 3 and 4 on a tank of fuel. What I should have done was go in car camera down the backstretch so I can actually see how much fuel is actually left in the tank. And yeah, I can do I can do this all in 2 laps apparently. And I have 1/8 of it, 3/4 of a tank of fuel left. So in the garage, I will only put a gallon of fuel in here. So we'll be down to 2 gallons of fuel instead of 3. It doesn't take that much off the projected 4 laps, or 3 laps, and really that's all we need right now is 3 laps. The warm up, the first lap, and then the second lap. So we're sitting at 2:14.1, which is still faster than my old track record. It was still 2 miles an hour faster than Bill Elliott's 1987 world record. And we'll just see what we can do here. See if we can get closer to that 2:16 again, because I would be excited if we can duplicate the 2:16. That will tell me it wasn't a fluke and there's a little more to this than just dumb luck. So if this is the kind of thing you guys enjoy, consider dropping a follow, a like, or a sub on YouTube, and also on Twitch and on Kick. So this is the first lap. I'm just going to back it off a little bit earlier because I just want to get through this turn. Sometimes I just get a little too cautious with that. But the speed did pick up on the first lap a little bit. We almost hit 2:01. So, and since it's going to be a little bit lighter, possibly the speeds will pick up just a mile an hour. And when we're talking tenths of a mile an hour needed, it's every little bit helps. Now let's see what we get on the second lap here. It's going to be a little bit slower, probably in the 2:13s, 2:14 range. There we go. Good start to the final lap. And it was a 2:13. Like I said, I've been doing this for a couple of streams now, so we're keeping the speed up off the turn 2. Ooh, that was a little bit of a wiggle off of turn 2, which I didn't want to hit the wall. Sometimes I don't know what's worse, hitting the wall or just having a wiggle. 2:26 around into turn 3. No fuel, so no, we cannot. We need that last gallon of fuel just to make it through. Oh, that was a heartbreak. We were on a decent run. We were on a decent run with that one. Okay, so we do need that 3rd gallon of fuel, apparently. That was painful to see, honestly. So, and this is kind of what we'll be doing most of the night, I think. Just playing with the setup a little bit to see if we can pull another mile an hour out of this, another half a mile an hour out of this car. And I was hoping that fuel trick was going to be exactly what we needed. But we came off of what, turn 4? Around turn 3 into turn 4, and we bled it dry completely. I should have realized that when we had 3/4 of a tank left and I was going to be about a 1/4 tank short. But I was hoping that our fuel miles was going to hold up for that once we got out on the track. But no. We weren't that lucky. So, lap 1. I just gotta find the perfect That was a pretty good warm-up lap. You see how it does slow us down just a little bit having that extra gallon of fuel, which is weird because I think a gallon of gas is like 6 to 7 pounds, so it really doesn't upset the car too much. And what little I have to touch of this, every time I adjust that car slightly, it does aggravate the speed. Like, this is a very good lap here. This is probably going to be in the 214s, maybe 215s. Nope. Turned it a little too early. Now, does anybody have suggestions on gearing? Which I think the gearing is optimal for what we're trying to do. We do need that extra 3rd gallon of fuel, so I can't do anything with that. If I put any more fuel in it, it's just going to make it heavier and slow us down. From last stream, the spoilers, I've tried messing with them. This seems to be the ideal setup for the spoilers. This game is so old, I haven't seen anybody else play this game or go for track records like this. So I have no other setups to go off of except for what we've been using. Suspension wise, I've played with the shocks, I have played with the wheel lock, mess with the camber. There really isn't too much I can really do with this. I could add a little bit of camber on the weight on the back of it. The idea is to pull down the back of the car just a little bit, get the rear spoiler out of the wind. I don't know if that's going to make that big of a difference. But if we can get the spoiler out of the wind and just let everything go over, maybe that will help us pick up a couple tenths of a second. If we could pick up a tenth or 2/10 of a second out on the track, that would be big for us. But it's, like I said, at this point, it's just going to be a very, very tricky thing for us to do, to see what we can make happen. So here we are. We're going to see what we can do tonight. Once again, this is the big stream here. If we can break the game's logic. I don't know what the creators thought we could do with this game, but we are out here seeing if we can defy laws of gravity and laws of programming to do something that they never thought this game would do. And first lap, 199. We've lost almost a mile and a half off of that. And all we did was lower the back of the weight just a little bit, and that doesn't seem like the car's very happy with it. So we will see what we get. We got in there at 212. Let's see. Can we at least hold the 210 around the turn? Okay, we can hold that. Now, if we can get through the dog leg, this is probably the trickiest part for me right now, is surviving this. Nope. Like I said, we are close on. See, I'll load the second one that we came up with. This one doesn't do nearly as well as the qualifying one setup, because this one we changed a couple of things that I would have to double back at it to see what we changed exactly. But we changed a couple of things on this one that I wasn't too crazy about. Originally I thought it was going to be better, and it turned out it was not too positive for us. So we'll probably end up going back to qualifying one, but let's mess with this one a little bit. If you guys have an idea about a setting that might help us out, let me know. We'll throw it in the old computer here, and we'll throw it on the track, and we'll see what your setups can do. I'm open-minded to trying. Well, okay, one thing right off the bat was the gearing ratio. and I can see already the speeds are being hurt by the gearing ratio already. And I don't think there's very much. No. So we're gonna go back to the other setup. The other setup was a little bit better for us. And we're going to look at the gearing ratio again, and I want to see if there's anything we can do with I don't think there was much else we can do with the gearing ratio. I mean, now we're just nickel and diming this. I don't think there's much we can do with this, but I'm willing to give it a go. So welcome everybody in. Tonight we are just, like I said before, seeing if we can set a track record here. Just chill, hanging out, seeing what we can do, what we can't do. If you guys have a setup that you think could help, if you see something that we can change that might help us out, let me know. We'll throw it in, we'll discuss it. And between all of us as a collective group, we can see if we can outplay the game. Can we do better than the game? And someplace in my house, buried in a box, someplace far, far away, is the guidebook for this game. Back in the day when I used to sit here as a teenager, just scrubbing notes, making notes all day long about what would make this game run faster, what would make the car run faster. And it's been a long time since I've seen that book, but it did have some strong setups in it. I hate to think at the age of 42 now, I just threw my first setup together and it's ideally almost the perfect setup. And maybe I did hit the bullseye on this one, but I find it hard to believe that in my 40s I magically hit a perfect setup on this game. So that's a 214, 248. We'll throw that up as our best so far. 214.478. That is currently our best. We'll throw some fuel in it. We'll send it back out there for another run. And we're going to see if that makes a difference. 214.4, we are still 2 miles an hour slower than where I want to be. And I used to have a graphic that I used to work off of. We had a picture of Talladega and the ideal speeds we wanted to hit in each segment of the turns. Going into turn 1, coming off of turn 2, ideal speed of turn 3, coming off of 4, and then the dogleg. We had 5 speeds that we wanted to work on. And if we can magically make those numbers happen, we would know what the magical speed we were looking for. And it's been almost 25 years since I've come up with that kind of, probably now almost 30 years since I've come up with one of those maps. And it's kind of what ESPN used to do in the late 90s for as letting fans know exactly what the cars were doing on the track. And maybe it's something we can bring back to this once we go to different racetracks, because this is not going to be the only track I'm going to try to hit a track record on. I do want to do Martinsville at some point. Charlotte's similar to this, so we can find a setup that's going to work nicely with it. And I think changing that gear just a little bit taller is going to hurt us a bit. .214.1, and I am all over the place. And this third lap is going to be a throwaway lap, I believe. But I'm going to hold it together, see if we can at least pull a 212 off of this lap. I don't even know if we can do that. we'll just work on what we can do into turn 3. See how deep we can throw it and see if we can hold the speed. No, we are not holding speed very well. And the dog leg, we'll just work on a dog leg. Nope, that is definitely a throwaway lap there. Now we'll go back to the garage, we'll go back to the gears. Just a little bit shorter, we'll go 1/10 the other way. And we'll see if that's going to help us out at all. We are seeking the 217 miracle lap. And I don't know if there is a 217 in this game. Up until I started playing this game again, I didn't think there was a 216 in this game. But apparently there is. Right now I'm just trying to get some heat into the tires. See what we can do down the backstretch here. I'm not overly worried about a massive first lap, high speed. I like to try to get off of this turn pretty well. If we can deal with that dog leg better, we'll be in a lot better shape to try to. There we go. That's a good dog leg right there. If I can duplicate that 2 more times and hold it together pretty well, boy, we will be going places if we can make that happen. So down the backstretch we go. We'll just get up against this wall. .226 into the turn. We are redlining going into turn 3, so I think the original setup was about as perfect as we were going to get. There's a 214.3. If we can hold it together better off of this turn. Actually, that is pretty good off the turn. A little wiggle. But if we can get into turn 3 doing 226 again, we may have something for that all track record. Well, we got something for him this time. We got something for him. That's the same thing I did the last time I hit 216. Okay, back to the old drawing board. The gear ratios were perfect. I don't think we can do much more with the gearing ratios in this. I can mess with third gear. I'll take it down 1, see if that makes a difference. But I think we're starting to get to that point now where it's not set up as much as just just the way the driver's doing it. I'm starting to think that the difference between 216s, 4, and whatever the max this game will give me at this point, it's all going to be on me. And I hate having that kind of pressure on me. Because I don't know with the keys how much more smooth I can make the turns and whatnot. But if I do get us up to speed a little bit quicker, what can I do with the gearing to try to get another mile an hour out of this car? If I can average 1 more mile an hour around this track, can I manage to do the impossible? So let's go back and reset ourselves. The other thing I could do, which I guess would be cheating, is go up on the track and avoid pit road and go up on the track and just start from the track, see if having a wide open track to pick up speed would make a difference. It would probably make a difference on the warm-up lap. It probably wouldn't make any difference on laps 2 and 3. But something to consider. I do wonder if I do that, will I pick up extra fuel, and then I'm looking to that whole, can we go down to 2 gallons of fuel instead of 3 gallons of fuel? Basically, will that give me a quarter of a tank of fuel doing it that way? And I don't believe it will. Ooh, that was a hard one. But let's give that a go. Let's go up on the track real quick. I'm just scientific purposes now. Can we make this work? And will this give me more speed into turn 1 on the warm-up? Because we come down the track like that. I know we come off the track doing about 193 off the turn. About the same. That doesn't give us any more speed down the backstretch for setting ourselves up. Man. We're just seeing what we can do tonight, see if there are any miracles that can be had. It's probably good. I would like to think this is going to be a faster first lap. 2:02.4, so it picked it up at least a mile and a half. But just because it picks it up a mile and a half on the first lap doesn't mean it's going to give me what I need down this one. Because this is going to probably be a throwaway lap. For those watching at home, tuning in tonight, welcome in. If you're watching on VOD, welcome in there too. We are elusively chasing 217, a speed that I don't know this game has in it. This game may not have 217 in it for me. But we will get one good lap here to see what we can pull out of it on this time around. And that does hold it up a little bit better. We held up the 207 much longer. Well, we just threw it away, but we held that 207, 208 around that turn a lot longer this time around, with that gear being knocked down just a tad bit. And this is gonna, like I said, this is probably just now going to be a throwaway lap due to the damage. I'm just going to throw it away now. Set ourselves back up again. There is something here, at least for that warm-up lap. And I just want to get through one lap of this, one full lap run without damage to see if see what's here and if this is a viable option for us to get 2/10 of a gallon of fuel left in the car. Because if we can keep the extra fuel in this car, we can come down to 2 gallons and really run this car right on the edge. So I think the goals are going to be 205. I would call it 206 to try to get another mile an hour out of it. 227 into turn 3. 2020. See if I can keep it 205, 206 around this turn. Going to this turn doing 226, 227. A 228 will be a bonus, but at least 226, 227. keep it doing about 210 through this turn. Especially how we come off here sometimes doing 213, 214. Hold it together. I'm just killing so much off of that turn. Does anybody have a suggestion tonight? BG, if you have a suggestion, I'd be more than willing to listen. See what we can come up with tonight. Let's throw you follow as well. I appreciate you coming in tonight. We'll get you the follow there, my friend. And let's think right now what we can do to try to pull an extra mile an hour, roughly. What I could do also is build that map that I was talking about, but I need somebody watching and just keeping track of the speeds the whole way through. Let's go back to what we originally had. We'll go back up to 380. And let's see where we sit going this way. And see if we can pull an extra mile an hour or half a mile an hour. Right now, let's see if we can get to 215. We know we can do 214 no problem and somewhat consistently. Let's get to 215 and figure out where we go from there. Let's not swing for the home run. Let's see if we get ourselves on base and get ourselves all warmed up properly. See if we can get ourselves back up to 215. We hit 215 and we figure out 216 and then we figure out 217. Now, I have searched online to see if there is any documentation, anybody's old records from the 90s and 2000s, where where 217 is just not realistic, or 216 was not realistic. See, right now we're running 206, 207. That's what we need to do off the turn when we're going for a track record like this. That was great. That is doable. See what we can. There's 227. Now if we can just hold 210 off the turn here, this could be a magic lap right here. This lap has all the makings of a solid lap. Damn, it always hits the wall. 215.2, and this is going to be a throwaway lap right here. But let's see where we're at here. Let's get back into it. 215.262. So we have it set up that we can get a 215 lap out of it. 215.262. So that is doable. We can do that. Now, we are still coming up about 1.2 miles an hour short. Now, if we can just find another get up on the track here. Now we can just figure out how to get an extra mile an hour out of this track someplace. It would put us close to where we need to be. 215.2. I still think that's faster than what this game ever thought we would be able to pull out of it. Does anybody know a good website that kept track of these lap records over the years? Because I don't know of any websites that are still functional online. Back in the late 90s, there was a lot of meshes boards, and AOL used to have a good one where they used to download files all the time for car skins and setups and all. I still find it odd that the setup I'm using is magically the best one you can possibly have. 200.8. This is going to be a throwaway lap, I think. Yeah, this is going to be a throwaway lap. We'll set ourselves up for lap number 3. See if we can hold ourselves together here. And even when we throw these laps away like this, like right now, I am working to see if we can get off this track, this corner always at 213. That one actually gave us 214. And since we're going the way this lap, it looks like it's just bouncing off everything under the sun. I think you guys starting to see how frustrating this can be if you're just not with it the way it's supposed to be. Oh, let's see. Open projector. I'm also curious that can I let's see, can I do this? No, I can't. I was hoping I'd be able to. I was hoping I was going to be able to play with the screen like that and get a wide screen to play this game. I'm playing on a small little DOSBox window right now. So 216 is still where we're trying to get to. We've managed to get into 215 territory. Let's get back up here again. And let's see what we can do. Get some heat in these tires. I've yet to get a full 3 laps in on this new setup to see if we can save fuel. I would guess no. But if we run out of fuel right before the start finish line, that may help us in the dog leg for us keeping us under control, because that seems to be what always gets me. So something to consider. I don't think I put the weight distribution back to where it was originally. So that might be something that I need to consider doing again, going back and fixing it. There we go. Good start to a 203. That is a great start to. Let's see if we can hold this together here. That is a great turn 2, great turn 1. Couple of seconds we sit there at we were sitting there at 227, so this could be a very, very, very good lap for us. Almost 215.6. We are really, we're starting to close in on it for us, me holding it together. But that's a great one right there. 215.6, and we still have a little ways to go. Let's see what if we can get through turns 3 and 4, and then I'll check the fuel level once we get off of the dog leg. Still 3/4 of a tank of fuel. We are not where we need to be. Still not where we need to get to, but we are closing in on it. 2:15, 6 miles an hour. There we go. So we're what, about 0.8 of a mile an hour off of the track record that I was setting. So we are inching closer to it. Let's see here. We lost the grandstands again. Let's see if we can find the grandstands. So we'll get ourselves back on the track. Get the mouse out of my sight. And we're going to try again. We did hit 2:15.6, so 0.8 of a mile an hour off the track record that I set, roughly. We have mastered most of turn 1 and 2 at this point. I think we've pretty much mastered turn 3. If we can get off turn 4 at roughly 2:13, we could do some math after this run, and we'll see exactly where the numbers put us. I haven't paid attention to what I do off the dog leg, so I don't know what the dog leg, if I think I enter around 220, but I gotta get off the dog leg doing about 190 to 200. So if we can keep this somewhere around 206, 207, that's not it. That's nowhere near it. I could take some of the rear weight off of it if that's going to help us. Like, I didn't think 5 inches off the ground is where I would want to keep my front end there. I would think I would want to lower to the ground, but apparently nope, that's not what the car likes. And whatever the car likes is what the car gets. 2:13.8. So we are still quite a bit slower with this new setup. And I'm not worried about the 210 and 211 in the turn. If I can pull 207, 208, so it might just be a little give and take. I give it a couple of tenths of a mile an hour, and then I gain a little bit coming down the backstretch. See what we get off of this turn. 214 off the turn, if I can hold it together. And a real, yeah, I wasn't expecting that to go over too well, but I was not set up for the dog leg anyway, so I wasn't making it. So we'll put that back to the way it was, I suppose. Suspension, cross weight for the rear bias. No, let's take it out. We don't. Let's take a little bit off the back of it. See what that setup does. Do we have to play with the cross weight now, trying to get? Like I said, I don't know at this point if it's me or if it's the setup. I'm starting to think it's me, if we can all be perfectly honest with ourselves. I don't think I'm going to make this any better between now and when I do break this record, knowing that I'm just screwing with a setup that doesn't need to be screwed around with. Down the backstretch we go. Now the question is the back of the car now too high? But like I said, did we just happen to hit the ideal setup and I just don't know it? Lap number 1. First lap is 2:02.9, so it does kind of hold up. Like I said, I give up a little bit if I can get off this turn. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. I don't think this is going to be the ideal setup either. I don't think this is going to be ideal for us at all. We did get the 216 out of it. But this car likes to ride up now because of the setup. And we are a lot slower now. We are a lot slower than we were before. 2:11. So I'm just going to go back, load up our old setup, the one that seemed to work, and we are back to square one again. Is it me? Could it be me at this point? Am I the reason why this is stalling out? Questions to be answered in a little while. So we'll get back on the track here. Get ourselves warmed up. I didn't have to do this last time to get that fast speed, so I'm starting to wonder now if it's just the perfect line and the perfect storm. And like I said, the first lap is usually a throwaway lap anyway. As long as I can come out of turn 3 and 4 with a good rate of speed and survive the dog leg, I'm not too worried about what this first lap is. It's all about surviving this dog leg and getting up against this wall as close as I can without hitting anything, and knowing when to back it down through the turn. A little bit slower. Like I said, if we can hold 207, 206, 207 through the turn, we'll be in good shape. Okay. See what we can do into turn 3 and 4. We got the 213 off the turn. All over the place, that's our problem. We're all over the place in turns. Yeah, we're all over the place. And we're still not getting that extra fuel mileage I was hoping for. We just gotta think about what we want to change, or if we need to change anything. Because this isn't working. I don't have the eye for this right now. I'm getting the feeling. That was much better. That was a lot better off of turn 3 and 4 and the dog leg. What can we do? What we can do, see if we can open this up. Let's Google and see if there are any websites that tell us, let's see here, NASCAR racing by Papyrus. Talladega setups. I want to see if there's any websites that still have car racing setups for Talladega. See if there's something here that we got Atlanta, Darlington, Bristol, Martinsville. Now, I'm curious about one thing real quick, and let's take a peek at that. And this is just curiosity on my part. He said he was at Martinsville and ran a 96. So a 96 is faster than the track record. So there is something there for when we get to that point. But let's see here. Let's see, is there anything I can come up with further for this type of setup for NASCAR Racing 4, Vlog, NASCAR Racing 2003, NASCAR Racing 2002, let's see here, iRacing. I'm curious, just out of curiosity. Let's see here. Yeah, they're doing iRacing, so that's not what we're looking for. Do I see anything that's gonna... Okay, NASCAR racing tutorials, but this is for NASCAR inside the NASCAR inside line. So this is PlayStation 3, and this is kind of what I used to do back in the day in high school. So let's see if there are any. It was groundbreaking back in the day, but what is not groundbreaking right now is the fact that I can't find another setup that might help me out. Spring 2000, so that's way too late. Well, there's nothing here that's going to help me out, apparently. The pits, Papyrus Racing 1 and 2. Let's check this out. And this is from 1998. Let's see here. Are there anything that's still alive? NASCAR 2, NASCAR 2, NASCAR 2. Let's see here. Is there anything for NASCAR 1? NASCAR 2, NASCAR 2, NASCAR 2, NASCAR 1 to NASCAR 2 setup converter. Boy, in 1998, everybody was jumping ship to NASCAR 2, wasn't they? Is there anything from NASCAR 1? Okay, this... I would be amazed if any of this wasn't completely dead by this point. Is there anything on this that's working? Truck racing, no, error occurred. So maybe everything that I'm looking for is just long gone. There's NASCAR 2. WinMimp. For pit stuff, pit background, all the utilities like that's called look in the archives. Okay, let's look at the archives. It's not like the regular one; it was still working correctly. Grand Prix 2, IndyCar 2 and 1, Macintosh Apple, NASCAR 1. Here we go. Let's see here. Someone did a 97. NASCAR set, something I would like to look at down the road. Graphics, setup viewer. Let's see, print your setups. Let's see. The Daytona patch to do 2 and 3 wide racing. Track calculator. That used to be something back in the day I used to use. Driver editor. Track picture replacements. Setup viewer. Of course that don't work no more. Weight calculator. That don't work no more. Let's see, NASCAR racing sets. I think all this stuff is pretty much. Oh, here comes Talladega. Does this work? No. See, this is what I needed right here. The car set for NASCAR 1. Stuff that we used to use back in the day. Let's try NASCAR 1 car setups. Did we get anything out of that? NASCAR 25, NASCAR 25, NASCAR video game. I don't need my account thing here. NASCAR the video game. Something tells me they are not talking about NASCAR racing from 1994. But we may have to the problem is using a setup for a more modern game. NASCAR setup. This is from 2009, so I doubt they're talking about what I'm playing with. But maybe it's something we're going to have to look up at some point. NASCAR setup for tuning. Let's see here. What game? That's a lot of technical stuff. That is more technical than anything NASCAR's ever done. So we don't have anything. $1994. Ted Meat is kind of dead at this point, I want to say. NASCAR 94 automobile setup, Darlington. Google sets for NASCAR 2. NASCAR 2003. This takes us back to where we were, I think. That takes us right back to where we started. Okay. Ted Meat on YouTube. Let's see, 4 years ago. Boy, if he doesn't play old school games, I don't know who does. 3 weeks ago, 1 month ago. So yeah, I guess he still plays games. And I guess I will have to subscribe to him. Since he's playing IndyCar 2, a lot of IndyCar 2 lately, and so I guess this is where I'm gonna have to go if I'm gonna. I may have to talk to him about this a little bit. Let's see. Let me throw him on my personal YouTube. Subscribe. I will be messaging him because I need a second body to think through some of these setups that I've been working on. Oh, that's Martinsville. I don't want to do that yet. That's something we're going to be doing down the road. Load. Qualifying 1. I do want to run my ideas by somebody who's played this game over the years. Playing a 32-year-old game at the age of 42, almost 43 now, I kind of wonder what I'm in for is there anybody else I can bounce ideas off of setup wise? You guys out here, I love the support. I love the help that you guys give by watching, tuning in, checking us out. I would like to think that there is something in the old tank here that can get me back up to 216. Because I hate to say it, I am not guaranteed a 217 is even possible. When I bumped the wall on Dogleg when I ran the 216.4, I don't know what was left in the tank, how much that bump took off my, I don't know what that took off my speed, but I figured at least a tenth, so at least a 216.5, 216.6 might have been doable, depending on my situation. So, something to think about while we ponder some of these laps. I don't mind taking a small break along the way, just to see if we can come up with something that may help us out in the long run. So, something to consider. That's a decent lap. 2:15.3. Like I said, we need to think about this a little bit more, see what we can come up with. I'm just trying to concentrate a little bit down the backstretch here, thinking what we can and can't do. 2:28, that's a good entry turn speed. But the problem is we lose so much coming off the turn here and drifting so high up the track. I do want to get we did survive that one. And how much of this last lap can we get out of it before we run out of fuel? Because we are not going to get all the way back around to start finish line again. And of course, this will be the lap that looks amazing. I promise you, this is the lap that's going to be, oh my god, and then you're going to get to turn 4 and you're going to have no fuel left in here to even finish it. Right here's where we ran out of fuel last time. Damaged wheel again. So, okay, that was lap 2 and 3. Okay, I thought we were a lap ahead of that already. So right now, well, you guys are still stuck on the TED screen, aren't you? You missed that whole mess. So, what you missed, a 2:15, I believe it was a 2:15, but nothing really to write home about, followed by a 2:13 lap. Yeah, 2:15.3, so we're still a bit off from where we need to get to. We're just trying to get up to speed as quickly as possible. High and tight down the backstretch. And we'll run some numbers after this, just to see what dynamic we're running off of. Tire pressure probably is going to come into play at some point. Let's get up close to this wall here. 2019. Not a bad first lap. But we're going to see if we can try to keep up a 207 a little bit. Wish we can't. Oh boy, can't we. Okay, we're going to throw that lap away right off the bat. I'm not even going to dignify that one with anything. I'm just going to do a quick calculation real quick, which I know you guys are not going to be able to see. If we can do 206 in the turn, off the turn, so 211 in the turn, 206 off the turn, 228 at the end of the backstretch into turn 3. If we can come off of turn 4 at 213 and get through, let's see, what speed we're trying to get. 220 divided by 5 is a 215.6. So I probably should make some type of Talladega artwork. Let me see if I can throw something together real quick. Let's see if AI can film me a quick image that I can pop up here, so we can put into our paintbrush. See if we can type up some speeds on there and throw it up here, so you guys can keep track of what I'm trying to do. See if we can take out all the text. If it takes out the text, then I can insert my own text. And then we'll throw it up on the screen for you guys, so you guys at home can follow along. I really should go back and watch the video of that 216 lap, because that will tell us exactly what let's see what that looks like. Okay, well, I think we can save this image. Talladega track. And let's open this up in art. Open it with paint. Good. Good, good, good. We're just going to take a slight detour for one moment, people, because we are just going to set up, at least try to set up for everybody. Ooh, we don't need it that big. .206. There we go. That's what we want. I don't know why this font was picked for this. I just want it to be something that everybody can see pretty easily. Come on, make it smaller, make it smaller. Undo. Open. Talladega. I tell you, sometimes don't save it. Let's see here. Semi-bold. I don't want that font. I tell you, if nothing can be made easy in this game, let's try the next one down. Nothing gets made simple. This is how we lose viewers, I suppose. So we want to do 206 off of this turn. So we'll make this. Nope, don't want that. Don't want it that size. Undo. I tell you, sometimes just trying to do the most basic things is off this turn to let's see, open. Let's do this again. Don't save. What are we guessing for turn 1, guys? Are we thinking 212? $208 into turn 1. Cool. Let's see, coming off of turn 2. 206. Cool. We'll put that up here. 227. Do we want 226 or 227? Let's do 227 because it sounds like a good solid number to me. Down here we'll do 213. And you know, Talladega, they make this track look so easy in this photo. And we're just going to do a 221 right here for the dog leg. So we're going to do quick numbers, quick math. We're going to do some quick math. 208, 206, 227, 213. And 221. Divide by 5. That should average us 215. So let's put that right out here in the middle for everybody. So let's call that average 215. Let's see, we can add that photo up here. Insert image. Just so you guys have something as a way of viewing what we're working on at the moment. Okay, now let's not make it the size of Daytona itself. Let me throw this up on my projector screen, see how this looks. Okay, I guess we can make this work. Cool. We'll just leave that up there for now. So you guys have an idea of what I'm trying to do as I'm doing it. Let's close you down right now. Let's get back to the game. Okay, we put our fuel back in here again. Now you guys know what I'm looking at and what I'm trying to do. And then we can try to keep track, see if we're hitting any of those numbers as I'm running the track down. I probably should have left on the screen for myself those numbers. But that should average us about 215. So obviously I've been hitting it a little bit better either in the... I think it's a dog leg. I think the dog leg is our biggest issue right now. If there's a way I can maintain speed and control in the dog leg, because I lose a lot in the dog leg. I wonder if giving back a little bit would help us. Like right there, we got off the turn at 214. .2026, so we do hold it pretty well. Like I said, we can get off this turn doing two. Oh, that is horrible down the backstretch. We didn't get any of what we needed to get off that turn. That was horrible. Let's see if we can go back to the wheel lock, see if we can put a little bit more in the wheels. Let's see what we put in the wheel lock. 14. Let's see if that makes any difference. I know if I put too much wheel lock in this car, what's going to happen, it's going to lock up the wheels. And I don't want that. So we're going to see what we can pull out of this. Also, too much wheel lock also is going to scrub too much speed off of us. But I'm hoping enough wheel lock is going to help us in the dog leg. Because if it helps us in the dog leg, try to balance out the dog leg with what we can get out of it. And let's just play with the dog leg for a minute. Let's see what. Let's see what the dog leg can give us, and let's see if what we have and what we lose along the way. If let's see if we can actually gain more than we lose on the dog leg. Five, 6, 26, and I don't want to give up too much. Get up towards the wall. Well, we're holding it a little bit better as I bounce all over the place. Try to see what we can make happen here. I do like I think maybe 13 might be a good number since we put 14 in this time around. So maybe we can do something more. Maybe I can also relearn this dog leg here a little bit more. See what we can. Well, we're still holding consistently at 213. Like I said, we are so nitpicking at this point. And let's see what we can make happen here. Around the turn here. Ah, man. This is what I love about it, though. It's so we are so close, but yet so far on most of this. There we go, down the backstretch. That is a good setup for the backstretch. Lap 1 has gotten a lot better in our setup, but we're not producing in lap 2 and 3. Definitely not lap 3. It's like we're getting a good setup for one lap and about one lap only. Coming down the backstretch here. There we go. Good solid start to it. Our first lap is definitely picked up. So We are doing good. Welcome in, everybody. I will get with you in 1 second. We're trying to see if we can throw down a solid 215, 216 lap. Welcome in. Let's see what we get over here, and then we'll talk about what we're finding. I'm finding a little bit, and then I'm giving it right back, so I'm kind of concerned how much we're actually gaining or losing along the way. Now, we are solid there, but we are not getting the numbers we're looking for. Like right there, we did get the 206 we kept hitting. We actually were hitting 207, 208, 207, 208 for a while. Like I said, we gain a little and we give it right back. So I wonder what the exact line I need in the dog leg. $214.5, so we're kind of between $214.5 and $215.5. Pope Paul, welcome in. Following back is not a problem. Right now, my biggest issue is figuring out where I can get another mile and a half. We'll take care of you with the follow, my friend. Welcome in tonight. We are still working on making some miracles happen. So that is kind of where we're at the moment. We do have a couple more trips I'd like to make before I take a 5-minute break. So I hope you guys enjoyed what you've seen tonight. Feel free to drop a follow, a like if you're following me on YouTube and like what you see. I do appreciate it. If you guys are watching on the VOD after the fact, also greatly appreciate you as well. You know, most of my views end up coming after the stream is over, which I appreciate. If you guys want to leave a comment or whatever, I'm more than willing to get back to you guys, reply to the comments. If you have an idea of how we can make this car go just a little bit faster, you guys have a suggestion, throw it down in the comments. I am more than willing to give it a try. We have had a lap as fast as 216.4, so I still believe with the way that lap went, not only was it almost the perfect storm type of lap, but I kind of feel like there was something left on the table. If I didn't hit the wall and we hit that same number, I think I would have been satisfied with it. But since I hit the wall on that last time around, when I hit that top speed, there's something left on the table, and I want to go back and go get it. We may not get it today, so we might be playing this for a while. I may move this to during the week, honestly. It's not one of those things that needs to be done on the weekend. This might actually fit me better on the week, since it's not a 4-hour race or a 3-hour race or anything. So we may end up coming back for that. But till then, we're just going to throw a couple laps at this real quick, see what we can come up with. 226. Scrubbed way too much off that time, but see what we get. We got not all of it back either. Try to scrub, see if we can survive that turn. We did. 215.3. We are set for a decent lap here if we can just hold it together. I'm not even going to look at the speeds right now. We're just going to see if we can get a comfortable line off the turn. A little too comfy, I would say. The only speed I really pay attention to is turn 3. See if we can hit 226, which we did. I think we hit a couple of times. Once we get down here, we can lay off the brake, left turn. Let's see what we can do here. Can we hold it together? And 214.0. So we are sitting right at the 215.3, 215.6. Right in that area. Now, do we think suspension-wise, 1% really makes that big of a difference? I mean, honestly, we ran 12 when we hit the track record. I don't know if we really make that big of a difference with it. Let's see, did I put the fuel back where it needed to be? Yes, I did. But as long as I can do pretty good with the dog leg, I don't see much here right now that's going to hold us up. I do feel like we got more speed off of 13-degree angle instead of a 12-degree angle. But I'm really just nitpicking now. That just might be mentally on me. But we'll do a couple more trips, then I'm going to take a 5-minute break. It'll be Chihuahua time to take out the Chihuahua. And then we will come back and give it a couple more tries tonight. See if we can eclipse the 216.4 and see if the 217 Dream is a possibility. Oh, that is a good thing. I'm starting to nail that. We're starting to get narrowed down in on that dog leg. And we're not even going to look at the speeds. I'm not worried about the speeds right now. You can see on the screen what we're looking to hit. Let's see how close we can actually hit any of these speeds. The dog leg is the elephant in the room tonight. And we're going to see what's possible. And we're going to see if we can get through this dog leg in one piece. Well, we survived it. 215.8. Very, very, very solid. That's what I want to see. That's setting us up possibly for a decent next run. Let's see what we get down the straightaway here. I know if I pull out waiting trying to pull a 228 out of this, I tend to sometimes wait too long. But I'm wondering if there's a possibility, and this is probably just me being greedy, can we work out a 229 off that turn before we go into turn 3? Oh, there's that damaged wheel I tend to do when I push it too hard. 215.864, so we did pick it up a little bit. Let's see here. 215.864. And that puts us, let's see, 215.864. We are still about a half a mile an hour slower than where we need to be. But about 0.6 of a mile an hour that we need to find. We're closing in on it. Honestly, I don't know if 217 is going to be doable. If I can throw down a 216.4, 216.5, and we don't hit anything, and we survive it without hitting the wall, I might just say that that's about all we can get out of this game. Because it's not much left on the table for us. Welcome in, everybody. I'm glad you're here. I am Retro. I'm here doing NASCAR 94 this evening. It's called NASCAR Racing by Papyrus. Came out in 1994. It was a big leap in technology for PC gaming for simulation racing games. IndyCar racing came out a year before this, but NASCAR racing really cleaned it up and got it going in the right direction before Need for Speed would come out in '95. Tonight we are trying to hit the 217 track record that I'm shooting for. May or may not be doable, but I believe that we may be able to pull that off. Working the dog leg tonight. Actually doing pretty good with the dog leg, believe it or not. And we're back down to the 201s again. But once we have the perfect line doing this, you'd be amazed by what we can pull off with it. That was not probably the best line coming out for turn 2. I did put up on the screen for everybody some of the numbers we are looking to hit tonight. I may have to go back and rearrange some of those numbers. I think lap 2 is going to be my magic lap if I do hit the 216 range. I don't think lap 3 is going to be stronger than lap 2. That is just my humble opinion. And there's a lot of humbleness with me, but I think that's my opinion that's going to hold up pretty well. If I had a steering wheel, maybe I can finesse going down the straightaway and holding it in place. It's 228, and like I said, we don't hold this turn nearly as well as we do on lap 2. But we held out a lot better than I thought we would. And 215.5. So we are pretty consistent 215.6, I would say. We're still running consistently about, what, 6 tenths off the track record right now. So we do have, we've become a lot more consistent. Now I think it's just a matter of me finding the ideal perfect line and perfect setup to make this all work. So we are going to give it a couple more tries, then I will take a short 5-minute break to take care of the Chihuahua, come back, knock out a couple more runs tonight, see if we can hit the special 216 track record. I might actually go back and download my video from YouTube for my 216 run and post that up separately, because I need to study that video just a little bit and see what the numbers were. Because if I can do turn 4 here and get down on the dog leg, get that all figured out. If we can get this dog leg figured out, I have a feeling everything else we can pretty much get back in line. Because we have some solid times off the turn here. And like I said, we can hit 227, 228. It's 227 that time. And like I said, we can somehow keep this dialed in off of turn 3 and 4. And if this dog leg can hold itself together for me, 214.5. Okay, we held up pretty well down at turn 2. I hate that I have to drift that far up off at turn 2 to keep momentum. We did touch 228 that time. I'm just trying to see if we can somehow we held 10 in between 3 and 4 is what is killing us right now. There's probably a lot of things killing me right now with this, but that's what's definitely killing us the most. And 214.6. So when we're on our game with 215.8, 215.6, when I'm off, I'm 214.6. So we got about a mile an hour spread right there, and we're still 6/10 off the speed track record. And that still puts us, 1.2 off of the obvious goal of 217. So we're going to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to go out there real quick, take care of Chihuahua. And we will be back. We'll do a couple more runs of NASCAR racing by Papyrus. And we will continue on trying to hit the 217 track record. So give me about 5 minutes. We'll go take out the dog real quick. And we will come back and see what else we can do with this game. We're back. Took care of Chihuahuas. One of the few times that Chihuahua actually takes a long time to go out there and use the restroom. You know, when I'm streaming days, the day that she takes forever. So we are back. We are checking out another setup. We're refueling for another run. I think at this point it's just me not being on my A game. Because I believe we do have the numbers to do what we need to do. So we will see what we can do for the next, I don't know, another 45 minutes and see if we can hit 216 and see what magic we can make happen. I'm glad everybody who's stopped in tonight. I'm happy to see you guys. I'm happy for the 2 new followers we've picked up this evening. And for everybody who's stuck around for the last hour and 50 somewhat minutes, that you guys have decided to come in, check us out, and hang out with us for a while we try to make NASCAR history 1994 style. See, I wish my car would take off like that around every time I go through the dog leg. If I could do that every dog leg, I think our speeds would be up at least another 2-3 tenths of a mile an hour. I think if we could do that on a regular enough basis, we could actually hit 216 again. But it's going to take a little bit more than just I think the second lap is always going to be my better lap of the 3. See, we get up pretty good up against the wall here. Get back into it. 2:15.1. Every time I think I have a really good lap, it's like a low 2:15. So I'm kind of wondering, where am I going to find another, mile an hour? And that's what I need, is about a mile an hour. So we can hit I know I was trying to stay in this and all. And the final lap is gonna be held together 2:14.3. So once again, but see, that time it was 0.9. So we almost have enough fuel to do another lap. And we can almost pull out 2 gallons of fuel instead of 3 gallons of fuel. So I guess we're close. We will be extremely close to pull that one off. And we don't really save that much in fuel to do that. Suspension. Yeah, we're back to where we were. Shocks are where they need to be. Wheel lock is pretty much where we need to be. I don't see where we're going to get another mile an hour right now. But if you guys see something I don't, speak up. I have no problem taking advice and suggestions right about now. Backseating is welcome in this type of thing, because as a group we get ahead, defiantly fall. So let's see what we can work together and what we can come up with. So we're about 6 miles. Our personal best tonight is still 6 tenths of a mile an hour slower than where we need to be. That means we need to find 2 areas of this track where we're going to be a mile an hour faster, and another half of the track we have to pretty much maintain what we've been doing. Here we go. if I just get off the brake pedal and just the gas pedal and just hold it, we do somewhat okay. So coming into turn 1 is about 213. That's our magic number right now. We'll just get up close to this wall here. Get back down here on the apron as best we can. Up to the wall. .215.6, and I'm gonna call that one because we were all over the place after we hit that wall. So if we can just back off, we don't really need to hit the brakes. If we can just hit just back off, I think we might be okay for as a dog leg, because we're not actually needing to slow ourselves down as much as the track's grabbing off speed, and then we can get right back into the gas pedal as soon as possible, and that all depends about how we are with the wall. So we're getting someplace tonight. Not exactly what I expected, but also I wasn't expecting to come out here and just dominate as hard as we dominated the first time around. What I did last stream was kind of special, I think, and I think we have to go back and study a little bit more of what we did that first time around. So we're just going to come around this turn here, holding it together as best we can. We've lost a lot of speed off at the turn. So this is not going to be a strong lap for us. And we might have to go back and watch the video on what we did that lap. Boy, it's just tight right now. This is probably like a 213, 214 lap. There we go, we're right back into it again. And I think that's what's saving these laps for us right now. The fact that we're not actually hitting the brake pedal and everything, we're just... And down the backstretch we come. We'll see if we can get up to 228 again. I don't know, do we need that extra angle of we hit the wall, and like I said, we're right back to 214.6. So what do we need? That is the question. What do we need? I'll go back and put that 13 back in again, but I don't think that's going to help us. That 13 is not something that's... I think that's just going to hurt us more than help us. But if we go down to 11, will that help us? If I take some of the wheel lock out of it, less wheel lock would mean less turning, less scrubbing of the tires, which means less taking speed off the track. But if we're running tight as it is right now, for us not nailing it on the ground, on the lower part of the track, and we're sliding up, I need to consider something to keep us tied down to the track a little bit better. And this is the same setup that we've used the whole time so far. when I hit 216, when I've done a whole bunch of 215s. See right here, I can come off the track a little bit and get right back into it. I mean, our warm-up lap is 2:03. We have figured out the warm-up lap, but we haven't figured out lap 2 or 3. Where is lap 2 and 3 tonight? But I think we'll move this to during the week. There we go. We're on the bottom of the track this time around. Get up to the top. There we go. Get right back into it again. 2:14.7. If we were just looking for a consistent 215 mile an hour setup, I think we have it. I think all day long we can run 2:14.6, 2:15.6 in that neck of the woods, even when I'm off a little bit. So, like right now, this is kind of like a throwaway lap, and I bet you we still come out with about 2:15 because we are holding. We're holding pretty well in the turn here. 2:12 off the turn, and as long as I don't hit the damn wall here, which we did. Okay, 2:13.9. So. We're starting to lose it now, and I'm thinking it might be because I'm losing my eye for it at the moment. So we'll do one more run, see what it looks like. And then we're going to debate what we want to do with ourselves for the rest of the stream. Because I don't think we have... I don't think we have too much more to do with this. I don't, at least for tonight. I mean, we're going to definitely come back to this during the week, but I don't think tonight we're going to have much more for this track. We could take a peek at Martinsville tonight if we want. If we're good with that, we can take a look at Martinsville, see what Martinsville has for us. 2:15.8 is not a bad lap. I mean, I bet you a lot of people would like to run 2:15.8 in this game. But we did find the guy who used to have the setups for these races over the years in this game, so I'm going to reach out to him this week, see what he says to me, see if we find out any information that may help me out, also see if he's actually gone for any track records in this game, and then we can compare notes to see if where I need to be. Also, we can just see two crazy people who loves playing 32-year-old racing sim games. And boy, we were really good on that first lap, and I don't know where we lose it, but we lose it someplace along the way quite quickly. I think I'm just losing a little bit all over the track tonight. I'm losing a mile an hour here, a mile an hour there, and get down to the bottom of the track. And then we'll just see if we can just... Nope. 2:14.0. Like I said, we are consistently running 2-3 miles an hour quicker than Bill Elliott. So, I mean, we are... Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, we have your number. We've been trying to reach out and contact you about auto insurance along the way. But I think that's kind of where I'm going to leave it for today. I said we would look at Martinsville. Martinsville, we do have a guy who can run... What did Ted run on it? He has a setup that he can run 96.9 So my goal would be just to take out 97. Let's see, does this link even work? Nothing. Okay. Notepad. Take a peek at this. How about we don't take a peek at this? Let's take a look at my download. Download. STG. Is all the NASCAR racing setups STGs? Martinsville. Yep, there are all STGs. So I'm not going to put that file into the game tonight, but we will take a look at Martinsville and we'll just load up the generic qualifying file, see what we have here. I gotta get used to my braking again. And like I said, this is something we're going to do down the road for sure. I mean, 97 miles an hour average lap speed is something we can work on. And like I said, I need to get used to my just roll the corner like that. And it's going to take us a bit to figure out what it's going to take for us to break this track record. 94.1. I mean, that is already faster than the track record that was in this game already. But we need to beat his 97. And the final part of this qualifying run will be 94.9. So, go into the garage, come out of the garage. We'll have a good another run. Because he's running high 96s and we're just going to have to take a look at this a little bit and see what we can come up with. Also, when you damage your car, it doesn't help yourself out at all with the track. So, we'll do a couple of quick laps here just to see what we're working with. Try to get back into it as soon as possible. It doesn't help when I run myself all the way up to the wall like that. It's not like I'm getting a whole lot of speed coming off the turn. That is the ideal line right there. If I could do that line all over the place, all day long, so this is something we're going to do down the road. We're going to look at Martinsville and see if we can take out a track record here. And that's going to take us a little time to get used to this track setup and the braking patterns. It's about all we're going to have to worry about tonight. So, something to consider down the road. We'll be doing Martinsville down the road after I finish up at Talladega. I hope you guys will stick around for that when we get around to Martinsville. Glad everybody came out tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed themselves. I sure enjoyed myself. And we will be back at this again. I don't know if we'll do it on Monday, if we'll do it on Thursday. But one of these days this week we're going to go back to it. Zelda, it's going to be a 7-7 seed on was gonna say it's gonna be a 7-7 seed with Gannon on Saturday, the 18th. We're gonna kick it off around 7:30 again, and that's what we're gonna be doing this week. So we're gonna do a Zelda Triforce seed. We're gonna throw NASCAR up during the week. So I'm gonna have to update my calendar, I suppose. And Saturday is gonna be Zelda 7-7 Ganon Kill, like what we've been trying to. I've been talking to another gamer about doing. So that is kind of what our game plan is going to be. So looking forward to that. I do appreciate it.